We live in a time where machines can listen, learn, and even predict our next breath. But the real question is, can they understand our pain? We've been told that technology will save us, that data will heal us, and that algorithms will know us better than we know ourselves. But what if healing, true healing, requires something no machine can ever replicate? Compassion, awareness, love. Most people don't die of disease anymore, they die of disconnection. Disconnection from their bodies, from nature, from silence, and from the simple rhythms that sustain life. And now we are entering an age where even medicine, the most human of all callings, is merging with machines. So today let's explore how artificial intelligence and machine learning can revolutionize healthcare, but also how we must ensure it serves humanity, not replaces it. Because technology, like a scalpel, is neutral. In the right hands, it heals. In the wrong hands, it harms. Our task is to learn how to hold it gently, wisely, and with heart. Have you ever wondered how something non-living, a cluster of circuits and codes, can learn? How can something made of metal and mathematics begin to recognize faces, predict diseases, or even mimic human speech? It almost sounds mystical, but perhaps what is more fascinating is that this learning is not entirely foreign to us. In fact, it mirrors the very thing happening inside your own mind at this very moment. Your brain is a magnificent network of about 86 billion neurons. Each neuron is like a tiny light bulb that flickers on and off, connecting with thousands of others. Every time you experience something new, a taste, a sound, a thought, or an emotion, those connections change. They strengthen with repetition, weaken with neglect, and form new pathways when you challenge yourself to grow. This is learning, this is adaptation, this is life's most sophisticated algorithm, written by nature herself. Now, artificial intelligence, or AI, is an attempt to recreate a fraction of that process. It's made of artificial neurons, mathematical models that adjust based on data. The more information you feed them, the more refined they become at identifying patterns. You show an AI millions of X-rays, and soon it learns to detect tumors better than the human eye. You give it thousands of ECG traces, and it begins to recognize abnormal rhythms you might overlook. The idea is beautiful, machines learning to see what we can't, helping us heal sooner, live longer, and suffer less. But let's pause for a moment. AI can learn patterns, but it cannot feel meaning. It can process emotions, but it cannot experience empathy. It can simulate wisdom, but it cannot generate it. The human mind is not just a calculator, it is a consciousness. Behind your neurons lies awareness. The quiet observer who knows joy, sorrow, hope, and compassion. Machines can imitate the outer form of intelligence, but not the inner life of it. That distinction matters deeply in healthcare. Imagine that your smartwatch tells you your heart rate variability is low, your sleep score is poor, and your blood sugar spiked last night. The machine has done its job. It has presented the facts, but what do you do with them? You could feel anxious, or you could feel empowered. The machine cannot tell you which response is wiser. That choice comes from your inner intelligence, the kind that technology cannot quantify. So when you use these tools, and you should, use them as mirrors, not masters. Let them reflect back what your body is trying to say, but don't let them dictate how you should feel. Data becomes dangerous when it replaces intuition, but it becomes powerful when it deepens it. If you wake up feeling refreshed, peaceful, and clear, and yet your device says your sleep score was poor, whom will you trust? That small moment is the difference between living as a conscious being or as a programmed one. The truth is, AI and the human mind are not rivals. They are reflections. Both learn by trial and error. Both grow from feedback. Both seek order from chaos. The difference is that you have something machines never will. Compassion. And compassion transforms information into healing. Think of AI as a young student, brilliant, fast, but without wisdom. You, on the other hand, are the teacher. You must guide this intelligence, give it ethical boundaries, teach it humility, and ensure it serves life rather than controls it. When used with awareness, AI can be one of the greatest tools medicine has ever known. When used without it, it can become another form of blindness disguised as progress. So each time you look at the data your devices give you, pause and ask, what is this trying to teach me about myself? Not about my body alone, but about my habits, my discipline, my attention. Technology can show you patterns, but you must supply the purpose. A GPS can tell you how to reach your destination, but it cannot tell you why you are going there. Likewise, AI can predict your pulse, but only you can understand what makes your heart truly come alive. If you remember this, that intelligence without awareness is noise, and awareness without compassion is incomplete, then AI will not pull you away from your humanity. It will lead you back to it. For most of medical history, healing has been reactive. We waited for pain before we paid attention, for disease before we cared, for symptoms before we searched. But pain is the body's language of last resort. It whispers long before it cries, and those whispers often go unheard. Now, through the power of artificial intelligence and data, we are beginning to hear those whispers more clearly. Not because machines are replacing us, but because they are reminding us to listen earlier, deeper, and more wisely. Artificial intelligence allows us to see patterns that once hid in plain sight. It can analyze a person's genetics, diet, environment, and lifestyle, and then create a unique health profile as distinctive as a fingerprint. This is what we call precision medicine. Not a one-size-fits-all prescription, but a personalized path to healing. Imagine being able to predict diabetes before it even appears, detect heart disease when it is still reversible, or identify the best treatment based on your body's unique chemistry. That is not the future. That is happening now. Yet technology alone cannot heal. It can only guide. Healing is not just a biological event, it is an emotional, mental, and spiritual alignment. I have seen patients whose lab results improved, yet they felt emptier than before. Machines can adjust your insulin, but they cannot fill your heart with hope. They can track your steps, but they cannot teach you the joy of walking with purpose. What makes precision medicine truly powerful is not the precision itself, but the presence of the person using it. When you understand your body, its rhythms, its fluctuations, its quiet signals, then even the smallest data point becomes sacred knowledge. Your glucose levels, your heart rate, your blood pressure, these are not numbers, they are messages. Messages that say, something in me needs your attention. Please slow down. I often tell my patients to become students of their own biology. Keep a small health journal. Write down what you eat, how you sleep, how your mind feels after a meal, or how your energy shifts after exercise. It sounds simple, but that awareness can teach you more than any device. And when you combine that self-awareness with intelligent technology, you create a bridge between data and intuition, a partnership that honors both science and soul. There's a story I remember well. A patient once came to me feeling fatigued, bloated, and anxious. Her blood tests were all normal. She had seen several doctors, and each told her there was nothing wrong, but she knew something was off. We ran a deeper analysis using AI-assisted tools that looked at patterns, not just isolated numbers. It turned out she had early insulin resistance, invisible to traditional tests. By changing her diet, adding intermittent fasting, and restoring her sleep, she transformed her life. The technology didn't heal her, awareness did. The data simply opened her eyes. That's the beauty of this new medicine. It gives us time, it lets us act before crisis arrives, but only if we listen. Too often, we treat our bodies like machines to be managed rather than ecosystems to be understood. AI can guide you, but you must still walk the path. You must cultivate discipline, patience, and compassion toward your own biology. Imagine your health as a symphony. Each organ plays its part. The heart keeps rhythm. The lungs add melody. The brain conducts the tempo. AI is like a sound engineer. It can analyze every note, every vibration, every imbalance. But only you can feel whether the music moves you. Only you can tune your instrument through the choices you make every day, your food, your thoughts, your rest. Let this technology become a sacred mirror. Let it show you where you are drifting, where you are neglecting, where you are thriving, but never let it replace the inner knowing that comes from silence, prayer, reflection, and gratitude. Data becomes wisdom only when it is filtered through compassion. When you check your blood pressure, don't just see numbers, see how your heart responds to the world around you. When you review your sleep tracker, don't just measure rest. Ask what kept your mind restless. Precision medicine is not just about accuracy, it's about awareness. And awareness is the foundation of healing. If we use technology to return to mindfulness, to make choices that honor the body as the temple of life, then it will not dehumanize us. It will humanize us even more. The machine can show us the path, but only love, discipline, and humility can walk it. When compassion meets data, medicine becomes not just a science, but a form of grace. There is a saying I often share with my patients: the body whispers before it screams. Illness rarely arrives without warning. It gives us signs, subtle, quiet, almost invisible, but we are often too distracted to notice. We live in a world full of noise, busyness, and overstimulation. The gentle signals of imbalance go unheard until they become crises. Yet today, with the help of artificial intelligence, we are beginning to uncover what was once hidden: the silent beginnings of disease, the early changes that, if recognized, could change the entire course of a person's life. We call these hidden conditions the invisible patients. They are not people lying in hospital beds, but walking among us every day. The man with early arterial stiffness, who feels fine. The woman whose pancreas is quietly struggling. The young adult with inflammation slowly building beneath the surface. Artificial intelligence now gives us eyes sharper than ever before. It can analyze millions of ECG patterns and recognize when the heart is straining long before symptoms arise. It can study retinal images and predict the risk of kidney disease or stroke. It can even detect emotional health changes, anxiety, depression, cognitive decline, through speech and facial patterns. But awareness, no matter how advanced, is not healing. Awareness must lead to action. Technology can point to the imbalance, but you must choose to restore harmony. It's not enough to know. One must care enough to change. I recall a patient who came to me only because his smartwatch had alerted him during sleep, irregular rhythm detected. He felt no pain, no dizziness, no problem. He almost ignored it, but something inside him said, check it out. When we ran his tests, we discovered atrial fibrillation, silent but potentially dangerous. We treated it, adjusted his lifestyle, and today he is healthy and grateful. The watch didn't save him. His attention did. His willingness to listen did. You see, our bodies are not trying to deceive us. They are always trying to communicate. But we have forgotten how to listen. We rely on caffeine to silence fatigue, on painkillers to silence inflammation, on distractions to silence discomfort. The signals don't stop. They simply grow louder over time. And when we ignore enough whispers, the body begins to shout. That's when disease appears, not as a punishment, but as a message delivered too late. Artificial intelligence gives us a new opportunity to listen earlier. But remember, information is not transformation. A report can tell you your cholesterol is high, your stress markers are elevated, or your sleep is insufficient. That is information. Transformation begins when you say, I want to understand why. Why is my blood pressure rising? Why am I constantly fatigued? What habits, thoughts, or emotional burdens might be contributing? That is where real medicine begins, not in the test results, but in the awareness they awaken. When you receive health data from your device, don't let fear be your first response. Let curiosity be. Fear paralyzes. Curiosity awakens. Ask questions, seek understanding, take small steps, walk a little more, breathe a little deeper, rest a little longer. Healing often begins with a single conscious choice. Think of AI as a microscope. It can magnify what's there, but it cannot change what it sees. The power remains with you. The same technology that can reveal hidden disease can also reveal hidden potential, your body's ability to recover, adapt, and renew itself when given the right conditions. Awareness is a sacred responsibility. Once you know, you cannot unknow. When the data reveals that something is off, it is not a verdict, it is an invitation. An invitation to take ownership, to love your body enough to make the necessary change. The invisible patient becomes visible the moment awareness meets action. That is the true miracle of this new age. Not that machines are learning, but that they are helping us remember how to care. So, listen to the quiet signs. Don't wait for pain to be your teacher. Let the early whisper guide you. When technology amplifies your body's voice, receive it with gratitude, not fear, because every whisper heard is a crisis prevented. Every insight understood is a life extended. The body's always speaking. The real question is, are you listening? For centuries, medicine was a deeply human art. A doctor's touch, a comforting word, an attentive ear. These were as healing as any pill or procedure. But now we are witnessing a profound shift. Machines are learning to read scans, predict illnesses, and even assist in surgeries with astonishing precision. Some people fear that technology will replace doctors, but the truth is far more beautiful. It will not replace us. It will refine us. The future of medicine is not man or machine. It is man with machine, a partnership of compassion and intelligence. When you step into a hospital today, you may see AI analyzing X-rays faster than a radiologist, detecting minute changes invisible to the human eye. You may see algorithms predicting which patients are at risk of heart failure long before symptoms appear. And yet, in the middle of all that brilliance, a patient still looks into the eyes of a doctor and asks a very human question: am I going to be okay? That question cannot be answered by data. It requires presence, empathy, and faith, qualities no machine possesses. Technology is a tool, not a healer. A scalpel, no matter how sharp, is lifeless until guided by a surgeon's hand. In the same way, artificial intelligence is only as ethical, compassionate, and wise as the humans who direct it. A doctor guided by both science and empathy will always heal more deeply than one guided by data alone. The machine may process patterns, but the human must interpret meaning. I often tell my students a pilot trusts their instruments, but never stops looking out the window. The instruments provide clarity, but the sky can change. Similarly, in medicine, AI offers incredible precision, but the art of healing still requires intuition, that subtle awareness that comes from years of experience and, more importantly, from caring. Imagine a patient comes in with chest pain. The computer analyzes the ECG, runs risk algorithms, and tells you the probability of a heart attack. But when you hold that patient's hand, you may notice something no machine can. The fear in their eyes, the tremble in their voice, the unspoken anxiety of mortality. Healing begins there, in that moment of connection. The data may guide your treatment, but compassion guides your humanity. And this partnership is not only for doctors, it extends to every individual. You are the primary custodian of your health. The tools available today, from wearable monitors to AI-powered health platforms, give you access to data that was once available only in hospitals. But that data becomes meaningful only when you engage with it consciously. Bring your findings to your physician. Discuss your progress. Ask questions. Let your doctor be your mentor, and let technology be your assistant. The future of healthcare is teamwork, a triangle of collaboration between the patient, the physician, and the intelligent system that supports them both. When these three work in harmony, the outcomes are extraordinary. Mistakes decrease, awareness increases, and care becomes truly personalized. But if one dominates, if technology replaces touch or the patient disengages, the balance is lost. We must also remain humble. A machine can process billions of data points, but it cannot pray. It cannot hold space for suffering. It cannot sit in silence beside a grieving family. And sometimes that silence heals more than any prescription. The human spirit has dimensions science cannot measure: love, compassion, forgiveness, and these are what truly sustain life. So the future belongs not to those who worship technology, but to those who use it wisely. Let it extend your sight, not replace your vision. Let it free your time from routine tasks so that you can return to the true purpose of medicine: to care, to comfort, to guide. One day, AI may predict diseases with perfect accuracy. It may even cure them. But healing, that sacred process of restoring wholeness, will always require a human presence. Machines can assist the body, but only love can reach the soul. So when you think of AI in healthcare, think of partnership, not replacement. Let the doctor be the pilot, the AI the co-pilot, and the patient the precious passenger whose journey we are entrusted to guide. Together, they can reach destinations that none could find alone. In the end, medicine will always be a human story, one of connection, humility, and hope. Technology may give us the map, but only compassion will show us the way. When people hear the term artificial intelligence, they often imagine futuristic machines and complex algorithms, but few realize how intimately it can shape the simplest and most profound aspect of health, our daily lifestyle. The small choices we make each day, what we eat, when we sleep, how we move, how we manage stress, determine whether our bodies thrive or deteriorate. Technology is now capable of observing these patterns, translating them into insights, and reflecting them back to us with astonishing clarity. Yet the purpose of that reflection is not to control us, but to awaken us. For decades, medicine has focused on treating disease after it appears. But AI invites us to a different kind of medicine, one that focuses on the prevention of disease through lifestyle awareness. It allows us to see the invisible threads connecting our habits to our health. A simple wearable device can track how your heart responds to stress, how your blood sugar reacts to a meal, or how your sleep restores your mind. That is not just data, it is a language, the body's language translated into numbers we can understand. But just as learning a language does not make you a poet, having information does not make you wise. Wisdom begins when you start listening with respect and responding with discipline. A person may have a device that warns them of poor sleep, yet they scroll on their phone late into the night. Another may see their glucose spike after every meal, yet they continue the same habits. Awareness without change creates frustration. But when awareness leads to curiosity, what can I do differently? Then transformation begins. AI can show you what is happening. Only your consciousness can decide why you will change. I often tell patients that their bodies are like investment accounts. Every meal, every breath, every night of rest is a deposit or a withdrawal. Technology can show you your current balance, but only you decide how you will spend your energy. You can choose to invest in movement, in nourishment, in silence, or you can spend your vitality in worry, overwork, and indulgence. The statement from your health tracker is not judgment, it's feedback. It's your body saying, this is what your choices are doing to me. Artificial intelligence has also made it possible to personalize lifestyle medicine in ways we never imagined. One person's metabolism thrives on fasting, another struggles with it. One person recovers best from short bursts of exercise, another from long walks. AI can analyze these variations and recommend what truly suits your unique biology. But this power comes with a reminder: no machine can replace self-discipline. You must still do the work. Eat consciously, rest deeply, and move daily. Technology may point the way, but your feet must still walk the path. There's also a spiritual side to this. Every time you take a breath, your body performs thousands of calculations to keep you alive, adjusting your blood pressure, your temperature, your heart rate. The body itself is intelligent beyond measure. When you align your habits with that natural intelligence through mindful eating, gentle exercise, restorative sleep, and periods of fasting, you return to harmony. When you live out of sync, your inner systems become confused and disease begins. Technology can help you realign. Your smartwatch may remind you to stand, to breathe, to hydrate. Think of these not as digital interruptions, but as small moments of grace, reminders that your body is asking for your attention. When the device vibrates, pause for one conscious breath. When the screen says, move, stretch with gratitude. These small acts are sacred rituals of self-care in a noisy world. One day we may see AI systems predicting the best moment to meditate, the ideal time to eat, or the precise hour your body needs rest. But the goal is not to make us dependent. It is to make us more aware. The machine shows the path. The spirit must walk it. In the end, all the data in the world will mean nothing if we do not love the body that the data represents. Love is the highest intelligence. When you care for your body out of love, not fear, not vanity, not pressure, you naturally begin to live wisely. You eat what nourishes, not what numbs. You move not to punish, but to celebrate movement. You sleep not to escape the day, but to honor life's rhythm. Let technology become your ally, not your master. Let it amplify your awareness, but never dull your intuition. When you combine artificial intelligence with human discipline, you create a kind of divine intelligence, a partnership between data and devotion. That is where true healing begins. The most profound question we must ask in this age of artificial intelligence is not how intelligent can machines become, but how conscious can we remain? We are entering an era where technology can predict illness, diagnose with precision, and even perform surgery without tremor or fatigue. Yet for all its brilliance, AI remains a tool, powerful, efficient, but lifeless. It cannot offer comfort in suffering, nor can it share in joy. Healing, at its deepest level, is not the manipulation of data. It is the awakening of awareness. And awareness is something no machine can replicate. The future of medicine will not only be determined by how fast our algorithms learn, but by how deeply we remember what it means to be human. If we are not careful, we risk creating a world where people know their cholesterol levels but not their purpose, where every heartbeat is monitored but few are truly felt. We may have perfect data but empty hearts. And that is why the medicine of the future must be conscious medicine, a union of intelligence and inner stillness, science and spirit, technology and truth. Artificial intelligence can teach us a lot about prevention. It can recognize early warning signs, recommend treatments, and track progress with incredible accuracy. But long-term health, true resilience, is built not on information, but on intention. It's built through habits of awareness, gratitude, and self-respect that protect your body long after the machines are turned off. You cannot outsource discipline. You cannot download compassion. You must live them. I often encourage my patients to practice something very simple. Digital fasting. Just as we fast from food to heal the body, we can fast from screens to heal the mind. The constant flood of information overstimulates the nervous system, raises stress hormones, and dulls inner clarity. Spend one day each week without screens, without notifications, without noise. Go for a walk in nature. Feel the sunlight on your face. Listen to your breath. When you step away from the artificial, you return to the authentic. You reconnect with what is real. Technology can tell you how many steps you've taken, but it cannot tell you how deeply you've lived those steps. It can measure your heart rate, but it cannot measure your love. It can count your breaths, but it cannot teach you reverence for life. The machine records data. Your soul records meaning, and meaning is the greatest medicine of all. There was a young student I once met, deeply fascinated by AI. He knew every new tool, every medical innovation. His mind was brilliant, but when he spoke to patients, they felt unseen. I told him gently, "You are studying machines that learn, but you must also study the human heart that feels." A patient may forget your treatment, but they will never forget how you made them feel. Healing begins not with a diagnosis, but with presence. The future of healthcare will depend on this balance, using AI to enhance efficiency, but never at the cost of empathy. A doctor may one day have perfect data, but it will be useless if they cannot listen. Listening is the bridge between science and compassion. The same is true for each of us. We must listen to our bodies, our thoughts, and our emotions before they become symptoms. AI is teaching us something profound, that the patterns of disease are predictable, but the patterns of healing are personal. Two people may have the same condition, yet their recovery depends on their mindset, their environment, their relationships, their willingness to forgive and change. Machines cannot calculate those variables because they belong to the realm of the heart. As we move forward, let us not make the mistake of replacing wisdom with information. The goal is not to build smarter machines, but wiser humans. Wisdom is born when knowledge meets humility. When you use technology to support awareness, not replace it, then it becomes sacred. It becomes an instrument of grace. So use these tools with mindfulness. Let them show you your patterns, but let gratitude guide your responses. Let technology remind you of what truly matters. Not perfection, but presence. The body heals through love, patience, and alignment with natural rhythms. AI can reveal the path, but it is the light of consciousness that helps you walk it. In the end, the most advanced intelligence is not artificial at all. It is the intelligence of the heart. When compassion and technology walk hand in hand, medicine becomes more than treatment. It becomes a reflection of the divine order that sustains all life. Healing, then, is not something we create. It is something we remember. We stand at the crossroads of a new age, one where intelligence is abundant, but wisdom is scarce. Our challenge is not to build smarter machines, but wiser humans. Let us use technology, not as a crutch, but as a compass. Not as a master, but as a mirror to guide us inward toward awareness, gratitude, and responsibility. So tonight, when you check your smartwatch or your health app, remember, it can show you your pulse, but not your purpose. It can measure your heartbeat, but not your heart. The next evolution of medicine is not artificial. It is authentic. It is the marriage of science and soul, data and devotion, intelligence and compassion. And if we use AI with humility, it will not distance us from our humanity. It will bring us closer to it. Your body is the most faithful servant you will ever have. Love it, listen to it, and it will love you back. And if technology helps you hear its whispers more clearly, then let that be another form of grace.